let's talk about Inktober. Inktober was started by a cartoonist named Jake Parker, who wanted to do a 31-day, 31 drawing challenge to get better at inking. It turned into this whole big thing that a bunch of people do. Every October, Jake puts out a new list of prompts or words that will inspire a drawing, and you're supposed to do a drawing every day for the entirety of October. So right now we're about halfway through the month, halfway done with the challenge, and I thought it'd be fun to make a video showing how I've been doing my Inktober drawings, and also talking about my project and how it's become this bigger thing. Let's start by actually jumping into Photoshop, and we'll take it from there. Alright, so we're here in Photoshop, good old Adobe Photoshop. The reason we are on the computer and not on a piece of paper is because I knew that if I wanted to do a drawing a day the entire month of October, I would have to find ways to speed this process up. So I'm actually doing the drawings here in Photoshop, where it's a little bit quicker, a little bit easier to change things around, and then I'm printing the drawings out and inking over top of them by hand. So I'm still doing the ink part of Inktober, just making the drawings in Photoshop to keep things moving along. Okay, so we're here on day, day 14, and the prompt for today is clock. I thought this would be a fun one to make my Inktober video about, because I'm drawing this clockwork robot, which is something that Jake Parker draws a lot. He does a lot of awesome drawings of robots. You know, he'll take a superhero or some other pop culture thing and make them into the robot version. So here we're drawing this sort of clockwork mining robot in his little gnome inventor dude, making changes, moving things around in Photoshop. Okay, let's just fast forward through all this. This drawing took me almost 3 hours to do. There's a lot of rework and figuring out exactly what I wanted this mining robot to be. But really, let's just get to the fun part, the inking. So finishing up here in Photoshop, I'm gonna change all the line art to be this really, really light blue. Like you can barely see this light blue. I'm gonna print that out and ink on top of it. All right. For inking, I've been using this Kuretake brush pen. I'll put a link down in the description below this video where you can find the brush pen I'm using. I like these pens because they last a while, and you can get nice thin lines but also a good thick line, and they're not too flimsy but not too rigid either. These are my go-to inexpensive brush pens. Okay, at this point you're probably asking, dude, what are you drawing? What is this gnome guy and this robot? Well, for my Inktober challenge, also, I don't know if I've mentioned this is my first ever time doing Inktober. I've never had the time to devote a whole month to doing a ink drawing every day, and you know, I just finished my graphic novel and wanted to do a project. You know, the timing just worked out perfectly where I'm gonna give this Inktober thing a shot, and I had this idea for a project pop into my head. If you follow me on any of my social media stuff, you will have seen that I have become obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons, and I thought it would be really, really fun to create a city and then populate it with a bunch of citizens, each of them being a different day of Inktober based on the prompts. And in the end, when all the drawings are done, I'm gonna put together a book or also a PDF that dungeon masters can use to drop this city into their game. So today, day 14, the prompt is clock, and so I wanted to make this gnome sort of inventor dude who makes these mining robots. So the whole backstory of this city that I'm creating is called Port Vela. It is a medium-sized city located around a harbor, and it's a fairly new city because the harbor was created by a meteor that crash landed into the coastline and created this natural harbor that is resonating with arcane energy, and people have flocked to this area and the city has just sort of sprung up around this harbor because of the magical energy and the pieces of the meteor that have been scattered around the area. So this gnome dude, who I'm inking here, has created these mining robots that go around and mine and collect pieces of the meteor. The mining drill arm and then the picker arm, and they pick up the pieces and shove them in their big round body. And yeah, I don't have a name for this dude yet, or a name for the... I've been thinking all about the backstory of the citizens of this city, but haven't really been giving anybody names yet. But it's been super fun creating this city with all the dynamics of different factions who are trying to grab up as much of this meteor as possible. And there's a merchant guild that are trying to get all of the magical energy, make magical items and sell them. There's druids and thieves and a tribe of fish people. There's a group of priests and cleric that worship stars, and so they come to the city because the meteor is like a fallen star. Each character that I'm creating for each day of Inktober has a backstory, and I'm gonna put together this book that's filled with all their backstories and a map of the city and some of the surrounding areas, and maybe even a few dungeon things. But it's all just gonna be inspiration for dungeon masters to put this city in their game and hopefully get some awesome adventures started or continue the awesome adventures that people are having in their Dungeons and Dragons games. Yeah, I just hope this is a really cool thing for people to use, and even if people don't end up using it in their Dungeons and Dragons games, maybe it'll help inspire some stories or people to make their own D&D character for a game. Anyway, I'm just really excited about this project. Halfway through the month, halfway through the drawings, I just can't get enough of creating all these characters. So, oh yes, the book is also going to have a sheet of printable miniatures. So you'll be able to print out each character and make a little paper miniature to use in your Dungeons and Dragons game. So you can have a whole set of 31 miniatures. Actually, it'll probably end up being a few more because, like for the fish tribe and stuff, I want to have multiple fishes, and I might even end up drawing more of these miner robots as well, because I have an idea for a little dungeon with these mining robots. So yeah, that's been another part of this Inktober thing, that it's been super satisfying to ink a bunch of things by hand, but really fun to print these out and have little miniatures for the D&D game as well. Yes! Alright dudes, here's my little miniature gnome clockwork dude. I'm super excited about this project. If you want to see more, check out my Instagram. The link to all that is in the description below. I think at the end of the month, and as I start putting this book together, I'll probably make another video. It'd be cool to recap and show everyone all of the drawings. I'm already super proud of the 14 drawings I've done, so when I get to 31, I'll probably be really excited and want to show you all 31 drawings with the miniatures printed out and talk more in depth about my plans for the book, how you can use it in your own D&D game. I'm just so stinking excited about Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons!
It's such a fun thing. I want to feature it more on this YouTube channel and hopefully inspire some of you to start playing, or if you play, start running your own game and creating things for your own games, because it's so rewarding and I just love it so much. I want to share it with everybody. Thank you for checking this video out. If you have any questions about my process or about this project in general, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to answer. Alright dudes, lots of cool new stuff coming up. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you next time.
No.